My name's Mike Riding. I'm the Managing Director of Process Instruments and one of the founders. The company started in '98 and since then has been developing and making and selling water quality analyzers. Well, we identified the need for a new sensor and we'd worked with Professor Peter Fielden previously. And when he started the new chemistry faculty at Lancaster, it was the obvious place to go.
I'm Professor Peter Fielden, and I'm currently the head of the new chemistry department here at Lancaster University. And really all my career, and I suppose we're spanning a little more than 30 years now, has been primarily to do with measurements, basically chemical measurements, but also some biochemical measurements. So I bought a piece of instrumentation which I used to have at my old university, and we used that to show that in principle we could measure what we wanted to measure the way we wanted to measure it. So in this case we were looking for trying to determine solids in suspended solids in liquid. So this could be anything from the fairly unglamorous end of sewage, but it could also be handling waste from other manufacturing processes such as food processing and that type of thing. And it's actually more difficult than you'd think to measure solids on the fly. The sort of gold standard method is literally to take a bucket of the suspended solids, dry them in an oven and then weigh the dry solids and do a back calculation, which if you're dealing with sewage is not a very nice thing to do. And it doesn't give you that instant readout on the fly. So if you've got a process which is trying to deliver the waste at a particular concentration, there's no current method that's affordable where you can do that. So what we're looking at is to try and produce an online measurement of suspended solids. And we're talking quite a lot here, anything from 2% up to about 40%. And 40% solids gets quite claggy, as you can imagine. But we want to do it at a price which will make it available to a lot more industries than the current technology, which is very expensive.
So the business solution that we arrived at with Peter was to make a prototype model just to prove the concept, which we did at Lancaster. From there, it's moved on to a full-scale 3-year KTP, that's a knowledge transfer partnership with Lancaster, and we currently have an associate working here employed by Lancaster to ensure that that knowledge that we require does transfer across from Lancaster to us. We were able to test in a very controlled and scientific way our ideas and concepts for a new sensor. Those were very positive, which gave us the confidence to move on and start a full-scale development. So having access to that level of expertise was absolutely crucial for us.
The Impact Acceleration account was very timely. It was the catalyst which actually, in a sense, forced us to go and do something. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, but this opportunity actually precipitated some action from both of us. And I think that's really important. And it did give us that chance to do some feasibility work, which then we could use really to help with our bigger application for a KTP, because we could demonstrate that we'd already done some preliminary work together and therefore it was a viable project. We had a working relationship between the university and the company, and I think that helped enormously with the KTP application, which of course was for a much more significant portion of money, but the IAA was just what we needed at the time.
As a small company, we're always concerned when we work with a large organisation that the bureaucracy, the timescales would be slower than we'd like, that people won't get back to us in the sorts of timescales that we're used to working on. That certainly wasn't the case with Lancaster. They have an entire faculty which works with companies like our own, particularly small, medium enterprises, SMEs, and we found that the whole project was facilitated extremely well. It was really easy to work with Lancaster and gave us the confidence to move on to our 3-year knowledge transfer partnership.